Hey YouTube, it's Jimmy J. Today, I want to talk about the Positive Grid Spark 40 versus the THR2. Now these are two very awesome little amplifiers, but they do very different things. What I'll be doing is a test with my Les Paul into the Spark, and then a similar test into the Yamaha, and we'll see which one is the better product. Which one sounds better, which one feels better, which one's more versatile, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we've got the Spark connected. First things first, the Spark has a set of controls on the top, which has the amp model, gain, bass, mid, treble, master, modulation, delay, reverb and output, as well as a little auxiliary volume mixer. It's got these tap controls up the top, which help you go from 4 presets, from preset 1 through preset 4. Things to realize about the Spark is you really need an iPad or an iPhone or some kind of smart device in order to get the most out of it. Without doing that, or a computer with a USB connection, you're not going to get anywhere near the possibilities out of this thing. So I've got an iPad here with the Spark app. Now the Spark app is actually really nice. It has a really nice UI and it connects via Bluetooth to the Spark. So there's 2 connections. There's a Bluetooth LE connection, which helps you control the Spark and go through the amp models. And then there's the Bluetooth audio. So if you're playing the backing tracks from the iPad, it comes out the Spark. Now, the Spark has a few party tricks inside of it. So obviously it has the amp modeling and stomp box modeling functionality that we can see here. So we can actually, if I zoom in, excuse my really poor camera setup, but we've got a gate, a compressor, a drive, an amp, mod, delay and reverb. From what I've learned so far, if you double tap the amp, then we can scroll and actually choose what other amp we want to go through, and then we can just close that. Now when we go through the pedals, we can actually open the pedal and then tap it on and off, and we'll see the LED turn on and off in the pedal. That's pretty cool. As well as that, you get access to this Spark Tone Cloud, which is the same as the Positive Grid Tone Cloud, I believe. So you can go through and search for your favorite artist and pull out a Slash tone or a Gary Moore or Jimmy Page or whatever that you want to search for. And it's also got a bunch of predefined genres here, so pop, rock, metal, alternative. In the Spark down the bottom, you've actually got this music option. So it gives you this thing called Smart Jam. So you've got pop, rock, funk and blues. Now, from what I can tell, this is all internet content. This is not built into the Spark, and I think what it's doing is going out to some Spark website and it's streaming some YouTube style Spark video or Spark audio to the device, I think. I don't think it's happening inside the device. Could be wrong. If I am, please let me know. But let's say we go to blues. It's a little slow, my iPad's a bit busted, so excuse that. Okay, so we've got the audio coming out the Spark now. And we can see here that it's telling us what to do. Now you hear that? It's dropping out. The Bluetooth connection on this isn't great. So hopefully they can fix that up with a firmware update. But we can see that. That's pretty cool. So, and then it had this other thing called Artist of the Month. So it has Stevie Ray Vaughan as the Artist of the Month. Hopefully I won't get done for any copyright, but yeah, it pulls up a little YouTube video up in the top and then it shows you the chords. So I'm not sure if it's doing anything clever there or if it's predefined or someone at Positive Grid is actually going through and generating some chord charts based on these videos, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. It does have the other feature where we can do like a smart jam, I think, where look, I'm still learning. I only got it on Friday. Yeah, so you go create, and then you can actually choose from different genres. So let's go Dave, create, let's jam, set a tempo, 130. Now it wants me to start playing something. So I'm going to play through the Spark here. So it's listening to my playing. So I'm just going to get my Les Paul and just... So I just played A the whole time there. So it's going to create a song based on me playing A. That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. So if you just wanted to practice A scales all over and over. Okay, so let's get into the sounds of the Spark now. So the Spark does have a lot of sounds. Now, something to be mindful of is that it's really loud. This Spark is in a different league of volume to the Yamaha THR. The THR is very refined, very small, very portable. The Spark is heavy. The Spark weighs a couple of 4-6 kilos maybe. It's a weighty little unit, and it's a 40-watt amplifier. My THR is only 15 watts or something. But let's hear what some of the sounds are like in it. Now, I know straight up, I'll just go through from here. I don't know if this can actually just rest. Huh, amazing. They thought of that. So I'm in like a crunch sound at the moment. Now, straight away, this amp sounds like it suffers from what all amp modelers suffer from. And that's, or when I say amp modeler, amp and speaker combo modeler, it just sounds like it's got a blanket over the front of the speaker. It sounds very woolly. It doesn't sound very open and airy. It sounds very, like they've got the cabinet simulator cranked up too high, or it's trying to do too much in that space. It just doesn't have any top end. It's very... And look, it sounds okay, but it doesn't sound how I'd expect it to sound. So let's go up here where it says crunch. Let's see if we can get some sounds. Oh, here we go. So let's go to metal, and we'll just get our metal on. It's got a Metallica one, so let's go to Metallica. Now, I'm not sure what Metallica this is going to emulate here. Okay, so it's got a tread plate, so that's the Mesa Boogie model. Now, that sounds alright. It actually sounds pretty good. Alright, so that's kind of like a modern metal. That sounds alright, but personally I would have changed the cab on that. I'd probably give it a bit more top end, so I'd crank the treble. Now as well, it sounds like it's the internal drive is getting all woody and fuzzy, so it's kind of clipping. So I'd probably crank the tone on the tube screamer. Hopefully that'll tighten that woolliness up. Give it a bit more chunk. It sounds alright. It sounds great, and for practicing, man, this is awesome. So that's all going through my iPhone speaker, which I'm recording the video on. So I've seen a lot of videos with the Spark and the THR where they've got like an SM58 or something in front of it, or a 57, and I don't listen, my ears don't hear through a 57, so I'm not going to be recording this amp. It's how I hear it, how I think it sounds. But let's just go through some of the other sounds here. So hit the down arrow, dual train. Maybe this is a crazy train. No, probably not. Lots of noise gate going on this guy. What have we got here? Now what else do we have? Let's go through some of the sounds. Millennial lead. What could this be? So it's a Friedman style amp with a gate and a drive and yeah, it's cool. I do like the tone cloud. The tone cloud's really neat on it. Now, I don't know if it's accessing all of the internet bias effects and everything else tone cloud, but it does have a lot of sounds in here. It's got a Mighty Sabbath one, so let's put that on and might be able to play some Black Sabbath. Okay, so let's go to that sound. It's alright, but it's not the sound, but it's alright. SRV clean. I don't have a Strat on me at the moment. Oh, let's do this. Let's go to a this John Mayer-ish sound. 10,000 downloads. Save. Okay, so that's a clean John Mayer. Let's switch guitars. So now I've got a Strat with some Fat 50s in it. Now straight away that sounds probably a bit too bass heavy. And there's not a lot of top end in that one. It sounds a bit woolly. Here's a tip: if I ever want to get a good John Mayer tone, I actually look for a Red Hot Chili Peppers tone instead. And the John Frusciante tone usually does it. Okay, what's this one? Let's just... Oh, Dirty Plexi. So that's cool. The gate can be a bit overused, the noise gate, so you'll get that weird kind of no sound, all the sound coming through, so you don't get a lot of dynamic. And you can hear the aliasing on the tone, on the noise gate when you're playing softly. It's like a... Okay, so that's really cool. It's got alternative sound, so let's see what that has. Purple Rain, jazz chorus. Let's go jazz chorus. Might be able to get some Metallica cleans out of this. Be great if it did. It's not bad. Most of these patches are baked in effects. There's very few that have the effect levels just right. I prefer to have like a really clean sound with a little bit of delay and some reverb in the background. These seem to have like everything on 10. But that's fine, that's just how it is. Hendrix has 10,000 downloads. Let's have a listen to Mr. Hendrix on here. That's a big muff, I believe, on the patch. There, so we've got the fuzz pedal through an orange amp. Now let's turn the gate off because I think the gate's a bit overdone here. Oh my god, Noise City. Oh, listen to that. but I'd prefer to play with that because it feels a lot more responsive. Okay, so that's interesting. So the gate, maybe you could just change the threshold a bit so it's not as aggressive. But it doesn't, yeah, it just drops out too early. Alright, so that's that. So that's pretty cool. It's got squillions of different effects. So on the gate, you double tap it, I think, or maybe there's just one gate. Comp, you can actually double tap that and go through like 5 different compressors. On the drive, you've got a bunch of different drive pedals. You can't stack them, so you can't have a drive into a distortion into a something else. It's got like a preset chain. That's fine. I mean, it's a practice amp. We've got 30 odd amps. 30. And then we've got, in modulation, we've got tremolo, chorus, phaser, vibrato, univibe, clona chorus, tremolo, tremolator. Delay, we've got echoes, delays, vintage delays, reverse delays. So in delays, it's got about 1 million delays. 6 is pretty close to 1 million. So we've got digital delay. Vintage delay. Reverse delay. Not a massive fan of that. And the reverbs are actually quite nice. I really like the reverbs. So let's have some reverb. So something about the Spark which is super important is this thing is loud. This thing will overpower most stereo systems. At the moment, it's on about, let's call it 2.5 out of 10, 3 out of 10. And this thing's loud. This thing is, in the room, it's loud. Let's just go back here. And let's turn off this reverb. Let's turn off the mod. We'll just have some straight guitar. Okay, we've still got some delay. That's enough to annoy your parents. Let's crank it up halfway. That is great. That's louder than practice amps that I had years ago. I used to have a PV Bandit, and that thing was a piece of junk compared to this. This sounds epic, and it's only got 2 5-inch speakers in it or something. It's loud. This thing is loud, but loud isn't always good. It's not always better. I mean, that gate is just driving me nuts. But then again, I've got single coils here. So it's not great. This thing has a lot of bottom end in it. It goes really quite low. I'm just fumbling around in the UI here, so please don't laugh. Dirty Plexi, we're back here again. Yeah, that noise gate is just gonna drive me nuts. let's switch over to the THR2 and see how that sounds. Now we're back with a Les Paul Gibson. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, straight up, this THR just feels like a real amp, whereas the Spark feels like a practice amp that's trying to be a real amp. This actually feels like a real amp. In saying that, in order to get it to that volume, it sounds thinner, but it's at half, which the Spark wasn't at before. So what's cool about this is that with the Yamaha THR range, originally there was 3 models of the THR. There was the modern, the boutique, and the classic. The cream one that you would see around was the classic. The boutique was green, maybe, and the modern was another color, darker something. Maybe I got the mixed up, but I never had the other two. I only had the Model 1. This one has all 3 built in. So if I went to patch 1 here, so I'm using the clean from the boutique set, but I could actually go to the clean from the classic set, and it actually sounds different. It's not just a few tweaks. That's got a lot more bottom in it. Actually, I'm going to save that. I like that clean tone from the classic series. So that's just, I just held down the number 1 for 3 seconds and saved the patch. Okay. So, in modern, let's go patch 2 so we don't break that. So we're in modern, we've got high gain. I don't really like that delay, so let's kill the delay. Delay's gone. We can hear we're bottoming out the speaker, so let's crank the bass back a bit. Take the gain up, so it's not as high output. Now we've got this other option over here, which is really cool. The Spark doesn't have this as far as I know, but we can do different cabinet or different impulse responses here. So we can go like a British 2x12. And that makes a big difference to the sound of this amp. Let's give it some reverb. Turn the volume down a little bit. Make it a bit less aggressive. Mate, I would play on this all day. Yeah, that's lovely. Okay, so that's the high gain. Crunch, what do we got here? Lead. Boutique. Boutique and lead. So if I was going to go for lower gain sounds, I'd definitely be in this realm. So straight up, I like the Spark. I like what it's trying to do. I don't love it, but I do love the THR. The THR is smaller, it's lighter, it's got a battery in it. Sounds better, in my opinion. Doesn't have as many graphical bells and whistles. I mean, this UI is nothing to get super excited about, but it's functional, it works, and it's reliable. The Spark, it has all the nice graphics of all the stomp boxes and the amp heads and stuff. I'm not playing the game, I'm trying to learn guitar. I do like the backing tracks in the Spark, but in saying that, how hard can it be? If you've got your iPad, you're doing this, what I'm doing now, you just tap out of this, open the YouTube app, and go to a blues backing track, and guess what? You're 90% there. The Spark is cheap. I paid $234 for the pre-order. I paid, so that was USD, so that's probably 350 Australian dollars. I paid maybe 500 Australian dollars for the THR, so the THR is more expensive, but what this gives me is I can put this in a backpack quite comfortably. It's light, it has a battery in it, so I can just pop this in a backpack, go for a walk with my guitar on my shoulder, plonk down and just jam out. And I love the THR. I don't love the Spark. So take that with a grain of salt. Your mileage may vary, and I'm sure that someone on YouTube will tell me I've missed something, but try them out in a store, see how you go. I'd love to see an update with the Spark with a less aggressive noise gate, and I'd love to see just a bit more control in that bottom end of the Spark, because it has a lot of potential, but I think it's got that whole Line 6 Spider feel where it sounds like you got a blanket in front of the speaker. There's too much modeling going on, where this sounds open. Where that one just sounds woolly. It sounds like you get a hand in front of your mouth and you're trying to talk like this and you're mumbling. But yeah, give it a go. Thumbs up to the THR. Not loving the Spark. Peace. Be safe.